The Online Student.
Original content specially designed for the May 2026 examination session. IB Economics SL and HL, Paper 2. Question.
Samoa.
Text A. Samoa's economic structure and labor market. Samoa is a small Pacific island state with a narrow production base and high exposure to external shocks, including natural disasters and global tourism cycles. The economy relies heavily on services, with additional contributions from agriculture, fisheries, and small-scale manufacturing. Remittances from Samoans working overseas, particularly in Australia, New Zealand, and the United States, provide a crucial source of foreign exchange and support household incomes.
Paragraph 2. Samoa's GDP is dominated by services, including commerce, tourism, finance, telecommunications, and public administration, which account for around 2/3 of total output, while agriculture and fisheries contribute roughly 8 to 10%, and manufacturing about 10 to 12%. The country imports most of its fuel, manufactured goods, and capital equipment, leaving it vulnerable to changes in global prices and shipping costs. Real GDP began to recover after the pandemic-related border closures, with growth of about 1.5% in 2021, strengthening to just over 5% in 2022 as tourism resumed, then easing to moderate rates in 2023 and 2024 as the initial rebound faded. Paragraph 3. Nominal GDP rose from under US $0.84 billion in 2021 to US $1.02 billion by 2024, reflecting both real growth and changes in prices and the exchange rate. Inflation remained moderate by global standards, but picked up in 2022 due to higher imported food and fuel prices before easing closer to the authorities' neutral interest rate of 2 to 3% in subsequent years. Absolute poverty is still a concern, particularly in rural villages and outer islands where households depend on subsistence farming and fishing. Using a national basic needs poverty line, a significant minority of the population is estimated to live in absolute poverty, although there has been a gradual improvement as economic activity and remittances recovered after the pandemic. Paragraph 4. The labor market combines formal jobs with widespread informal work. The headline unemployment rate fell from around 8% in 2021 to under 7% by 2024, but many people work in low-productivity informal activities such as smallholder agriculture, roadside vending, and home-based services. Male unemployment is slightly higher than female unemployment. For example, in 2024, an estimated 7.2% of men in the labor force were unemployed, compared with about 6.4% of women. Underemployment and seasonal work remain common, especially among young people and in rural areas.
Text B. Trade, exchange rate, and export demand.
Paragraph 5. Samoa runs a persistent trade deficit because imports of goods and services substantially exceed exports. Exports of goods and services increased as borders reopened and tourism recovered, rising from a low base in 2021 to higher levels by 2024. While imports also grew with higher fuel bills and demand for construction materials and capital goods. The resulting current account deficits have been financed by remittances, official grants, and concessional borrowing from partners such as the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank. Paragraph 6. The Samoan tala is managed against a basket of currencies, but has gradually depreciated against the US dollar over 2021 to 2024. The average exchange rate moved from about 2.55 WST per US dollar in 2021 to around 2.70 WST per US dollar in 2024. This depreciation tends to make Samoan exports such as fresh fish, taro, and coconut products cheaper in foreign currency terms, potentially boosting demand from supermarkets and restaurants in Australia and New Zealand. At the same time, it raises the tala cost of imported fuel, food, and equipment, which can add to domestic price pressures. Paragraph 7. For example, a 1 kilogram packet of taro sold in Apia for 6.75 WST in 2024 would cost about US $2.50 at an exchange rate of 2.70 WST per US dollar. If the tala depreciated further and the domestic price stayed unchanged, the US dollar price would fall, making Samoan taro more competitive abroad.
Export demand is also affected by trade policies. A rise in tourism and supermarket contracts in 2023-2024 increased foreign demand for Samoan taro and fish, while the imposition of a tariff by an importing country, for example the USA, on Samoan processed foods would tend to reduce foreign demand for these Samoan exports.
Text C. Inequality, informal economy, and urban development.
Paragraph 8. Income in Samoa is unevenly distributed, with moderate but persistent inequality. The Gini index is estimated in the mid-0.3 range and has edged up slightly between 2021 and 2024, suggesting a small increase in inequality over this period. Higher income groups are typically concentrated in urban formal employment in government, tourism, finance, and larger businesses, whereas poorer households rely more on subsistence agriculture, informal vending, and low-wage services.
Paragraph 9. The informal economy provides employment for more than half of all workers, especially in rural and peri-urban areas. Informal workers often lack access to social protection, formal credit, and secure contracts, which increases vulnerability to shocks and can limit the reach of policies delivered through the tax and social security systems. Samoa has a high Human Development Index of 0.708 and a global rank of 122. This demonstrates relatively high literacy and school enrollment, but non-communicable diseases, limited specialized healthcare, and exposure to cyclones and flooding remain major challenges.
Paragraph 10. Urbanization is concentrated around the capital, Apia, where peri-urban settlements have expanded along coastal and hillside areas. This growth puts pressure on land, housing, roads, drainage, water supply, and waste management systems, and many communities face high risks from sea level rise and extreme weather events. The government, with support from development partners, has invested in climate-resilient roads, drainage, ports, electricity networks, and urban water and sanitation to make cities and communities more inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable in line with SDG 11. Fiscal policy seeks to maintain debt at a sustainable level while prioritizing spending on infrastructure, health, and education, and macroeconomic policy aims to support stable growth and low inflation in a context of high external vulnerability.
Table 1. Select macroeconomic indicators for Samoa, illustrative values. Table 2. Inequality, informal economy, and urbanization indicators. Questions.
A1. Define the term absolute poverty. Text A, paragraph 3. 2 marks. A2. Define the term informal employment. Table 2. 2 marks. B1. Using the data in Table 1, calculate the difference in the unemployment rate between men and women in 2024. 1 mark. B2. Using the data in Tables 1 and 2, calculate the number of people living in urban areas having access to improved drinking water in 2024. B3. Using the data in Table 1, calculate the percentage change in the Samoan Tala US dollar exchange rate, WST per US dollar, from 2021 to 2024. 2 marks. C. Using a demand and supply diagram for Samoan taro in an export market, explain how rising demand from Australia and New Zealand in 2023 to 2024, text B, paragraph 7, affected the equilibrium price and quantity of Samoan taro. 4 marks. D. Using a foreign exchange market diagram for the Samoan tala, explain how the changes in exports and imports of goods and services between 2021 and 2024, text B, paragraph 5, and table 1, could help explain the depreciation of the tala against the US dollar. 4 marks. E. Using a Lorenz curve diagram, explain what the change in the Gini index between 2021 and 2024, text C, paragraph 8, and Table 2, suggests about the distribution of income in Samoa. 4 marks. F. Using an international trade diagram, explain how the 2025 U.S. baseline tariff of 10%, text B, paragraph 7, affects the export of Samoan goods and services to the USA. 4 marks. G. Using information from the text, data, and your knowledge of economics, discuss the macroeconomic policies Samoa could implement to achieve stable economic growth and support SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, texts A through C, tables 1 and 2. 15 marks. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.